Welcome to another episode of Secrets Recapped. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more content. A woman named Dani was sitting in front of her laptop, rereading her sister's vague message. She didn't feel good about it. In addition to her worries, her parents weren't picking up her calls. Feeling overwhelmed, she called her boyfriend, Christian. However, Christian told her to not worry too much because her sister might just be doing it for attention. Dani was upset with his response because it seems like he didn't care nor understand that her sister was bipolar. Even though she didn't like his response, she just agreed with his opinion. After the call, she was anxious and kept pacing around her apartment. Then, she called a friend to talk about her boyfriend. Dani was worried that she was being too needy, but her friend told her that if her boyfriend thinks that way, then maybe he isn't the right one for her. While talking to her friend, she tried to send another email to her sister. Christian was hanging out with his friends, and started to talk about Dani to them. His friends suggested that he should leave her because she's too demanding. However, Christian told them that if he did, he might regret it sometime later. Suddenly, he got a call from his girlfriend, and she was screaming and crying. He rushed to her apartment to comfort her while she cried uncontrollably. It turned out that her whole family had died. Her parents were found by the firemen lying on the bed, lifeless. It seemed that her sister had committed suicide and had taken their parents with her. A few moments later, Dani was lying on her bed, feeling numb. Christian entered her room to tell her that he's going to a party. Dani told him that she'll join him, but Christian wasn't thrilled about it. At the party, Christian and his friends, Pele, Josh and Mark were having a conversation. Dani's interest was piqued when there was a mention about their planned trip to Sweden. Back home, Dani confronted her boyfriend about the said trip since he hadn't mentioned it to her before. Christian tried to talk his way out, but Dani wasn't having any of it. Dani added that she didn't have any problem with him going on a trip, but he should at least have been open with her. Christian apologized, and Dani softened. She told him that she doesn't need an apology. She was worried that he'll break up with her. Later, Christian was hanging out with friends and they were discussing their trip to Sweden. Then he confessed that he invited Dani to their trip. His friends were upset with him but promised that they'd act like they knew about it and be fine with it. Dani arrived and everyone greeted her nicely, but they were awkward with her. Mark gestured Christian to come with him into the other room, while Pele talked to Dani. However, Josh just completely ignored Dani. Dani asked him about what his plan will be for them in their village, since her birthday will be exactly the day they arrive there. Then, Pele told her that it'll be a 9-day-long festival held by a small community, and showed her several photos. Dani was impressed. After that, Pele told her that he's glad that she will be able to join them. Then he gave her his condolences and told Dani that he knew what it must feel like since he, too, had lost a parent. This had upset Dani, and she ran to the bathroom. The day of their trip to Sweden finally came. When they landed, they drove to Pele's village, which is located in the north part of Sweden. The group stopped at a field where some young people had gathered. Then, Pele was greeted by his brother, Ingmar. Ingmar introduced them to his friends, Simon and Connie. After the introductions, Ingmar gave everyone shrooms and they all took it except for Dani, who was reluctant at first. Sometime later, they all sat in the tree, feeling the effects of the drug. Mark isn't enjoying the experience. Suddenly, Dani heard a distant singing and she freaked out. She then walked past a group of people who laughed at her. She tried to run away and Ingmar tried to calm her down. However, she just ran to the bathroom. There, she had a horrible hallucination where she had a vision of her dead family. When she woke up, Christian told her that they had been waiting 6 hours for her to wake up. Then, the group walked through the woods and arrived at Pele's village. The community people welcomed them. It seemed like the festival had already started since they were wearing festive clothes and playing lively music in the background. Dani was enjoying the warm atmosphere. Pele greeted one of the elders who welcomed them happily. He then told everyone that the official start of the festivities will begin tomorrow. Then, their attention was caught by the music, which led them to the center of the village. There, the elder named Siv welcomed everyone and wished them a happy midsummer. She continued by saying that it has been 90 years since their last feast, and there will be 90 more before the next one. Everyone raised their glasses and cheered. Meanwhile, a disabled child was shown drawing some pictures and not participating in the ceremony. Then, Siv passed one torch to an elderly woman and the other to an elderly man, all the while proclaiming some chant to the heavens. Meanwhile, Maya, a local girl, was getting ready in the washroom. When she heard the music start outside, she immediately joined the celebration. There, she saw the group sitting on the grass. A few moments later, the local girls were dancing, including Maya. Maya then kicked Christian's butt when she passed him during the dance. Then, Christian and Josh decided to join the dance. Meanwhile, Pele gave Dani a portrait of herself as a gift for her birthday. Dani thanked him and told him that Christian had forgotten about it. Sometime later, Pele gave his friends a tour to his village and answered Josh's questions about their community. The group passed by children having a lesson in the grass. Pele explained that the children were learning about the power of ancient runes. Then, Connie interrupted by asking Dani how long she and Christian have been dating, to which both gave a different answer. Christian spotted a huge temple. It turned out that it was a sacred temple that no one was allowed to enter. Then, the group was split into two, one was led by Pele, and the other by Ingmar. Ingmar's group passed by a caged bear. Then, he showed his friends a long parchment paper that tells a love story. Meanwhile, Pele took his friends to their rooms, which are in a beautiful cabin. Dani looked around the building and spotted a wall filled with photos of previous May Queens. At that same moment, Pele reminded Christian that he forgot about Dani's birthday. Dani inquired about the wall, prompting everyone to come and look at it. After that, Christian called her outside and sang a happy birthday. At first he tried to lie, saying that he didn't forget her birthday. However, Dani saw through his lies and Christian apologized. Later that night, everyone was getting ready for bed when Pele announced to the group that the first day of the festival was crucial. Both Josh and Pele knew why but hadn't told the group. Christian wanted to search for it on the internet, but there was no internet service. The next morning, the festival officially began. Everyone gathered at the community table in front of the sacred temple. Simultaneously, the young girls began picking flowers. Christian asked how long they will have to stand, and Pele said that they will stand until it's right to sit. Dani handed Christian some flowers. Simultaneously, a young boy rang the bell and the old couple, who had received the torches from the previous day, came over and sat at the table. After the old couple sat, everyone followed. Everyone. Then, the couple stood up to perform some kind of ritual and everyone stood up to drink in their honor. After that, the old couple were carried away on their chairs. Sometime later, everyone gathered at the bottom of a high cliff, looking up at the top of it. It turned out that they were waiting to witness their sacred custom. It was shown that the old couple were at the edge of the cliff. Josh asked Pele if he could read the scrolls that one of the elders is reading. Meanwhile, the old couple got their hands sliced and their blood was used to paint over some ancient runes. Then, the old woman jumped off the cliff and crashed to the ground. Dani and the others were shocked. Ingmar tried to calm Simon and Connie. A few moments later, the old man jumped off the cliff too. However, he survived the fall, but one of the community members smashed his head with a hammer. The visitors started to freak out, but Siv explained the custom to them. She told them that she wanted them to understand the great joy, and when it's her turn, she'll be glad too. The community members walked back to the village like nothing happened. Christian came back to the cabin and found Josh working on his thesis. Josh told him that he had decided to make his thesis about the village. Josh got angry at Christian because he's aware that he's also writing his thesis on Midsummer. The two men argued. Josh told Pele immediately, but Pele just said that it doesn't matter because the elders are protective of their rituals and won't let anyone write about the village. He then told him that he'll talk to the elders to get them off his back. Meanwhile, Dani was packing her belongings, ready to leave the village. Pele came in and talked it out with her. He told her that he had just wanted to share this experience with his friends. Dani answered that she doesn't understand this whole thing, and Pele coaxed her by saying that he understands what she's going through, but he found a new family in the community, and wanted Dani to also find one because she deserves it. On the second day of the festival, Pele told Josh that he can write the thesis but can't use any real names or the location. He also needs to collaborate with Christian. Then, Josh. While the group was talking, they heard a scream and saw a man running towards Mark who's urinating on a dead tree. It turned out that Mark peed on the ancestral tree. Connie runs into the cabin and tells Dani that she and Simon are leaving. One of the elders comes over and tells her that her fiancé has already left and that he'll meet her at the station. Connie was in disbelief that he left her. Dani told Christian about Simon but doesn't seem concerned at all and just proceeded his conversation about the approval of mates within the community. One man told him that they need to invite more people from outside. On the other hand, Dani got invited to cook meat tarts with the other women. Maya made a special one. Josh had a conversation with one of the elders about their sacred scrolls. It was revealed that the scrolls have blank pages near the end because they are always changing. Then, he drew on a blank page and the elders interpreted it. The elder also told him that all their oracles are products of inbreeding, so they will have a clear mind open for the source. Meanwhile, Mark spies around the sacred temple, searching for the girl he is attracted to, when a child calls him out for dinner. The group was served meat payas, and Dani asked if anyone has seen Connie. One of the villagers answered that he drove her to the station to meet up with Simon. Dani is puzzled why Simon left with Connie, and commented that she can see Christian doing the same. At the same time, Josh and Christian argued. He took a bite on the pie and noticed that it had pubic hair in it. He immediately looked at Maya. Mark gets called by the girl he is attracted to. Later that night, Josh sneaked into the cabin where the scroll is kept, and took pictures of it. Mark caught him doing it, and Josh tried to move closer to him but noticed that something was wrong with him. Suddenly, he was struck in the back of his head by the disabled child who's wearing Mark's face. The following morning, Christian woke up and noticed that Josh wasn't in his bed. At breakfast, Dani asks Christian where Josh and Mark are, but he doesn't seem concerned at all. One of the elders announced that the scroll had been stolen. After the breakfast, the elders approached Dani and Christian and told the couple that they find it suspicious that the scroll and their two friends went missing the same day. Christian threw Josh under the bus and Pele told him that he felt responsible. Dani was served tea that had drugs in it. Then, the older woman proclaimed the beginning of the ritual competition. After that, the women started dancing in a circle. Meanwhile, Christian is at Siv's home looking at the iconography on her walls. They sit opposite one another and she immediately tells him that he had been approved to mate Maya. The women continued to dance and dropped one by one. Christian joins the crowd that watches the dance and one of the women gives him some drug tea. The girls kept dancing until 3 of them were left, including Dani. Dani kept dancing even though she was dizzy. Few moments later, the 2 other girls dropped and only Dani was left standing. Everyone stood up and formed a circle. The elder crowned her as the May Queen. They took pictures of Dani as they took her away. Pele comes over and kisses her. They lift her in the air and take her to the table. Dani sits at the head and everyone follows her every move. On the other hand, Christian started to feel the effects of the tea. Maya calls for Christian to follow her in the barn and Dani notices that something is off. Siv told Dani that she has to bless their crops as the queen and doesn't allow Christian to tag along. Dani blessed the crops in a traditional ritual, while Christian is being prepped to mate with Maya. The villagers drugged Christian to manipulate him into making love with Maya. Dani spied on them and saw the betrayal. She ran outside and started crying, and the women started to mimic her cries. After the ritual was done, Christian was confused and ran out of the barn disoriented. Christian hid in a shed where he found Simon's dead body. An elder sneaks up on him and drugged him again. When he woke up, a woman told him that he can't speak nor move. The final midsummer ritual begins, with Dani as the leader. Siv revealed that 9 sacrifices must be made, 4 of their own and 4 outsiders, and 1 chosen by the queen. 2 of the villagers have volunteered already, one of them is Ingmar. Dani has to choose the last of the 9. It will be between a local and Christian. Dani, feeling betrayed, chose to sacrifice Christian. The bodies were taken to the sacred temple at the foot of the village. The elders opened up a bear's body and placed Christian in it, while still being alive. After blessing the offering, the elders set the temple on fire while the rest of the villagers gathered outside. Everything inside got burned away and the villagers convulsed and cry, as if they were feeling the pain of the people inside. Dani, the May Queen, stares at the burning temple and cracks a final grin.